The orange Namekian form is a form that, just like any other transformation within this series, gives its user a tremendous amount of power. However, unlike Super Saiyans 1 through Blue, Potential Unleashed, the Ultra forms, and a plethora of other transformations, this form is a bit of an anomaly when it comes to explaining exactly what it is. But unlike Super Saiyan Rage and the Beast form that suffer from having little to no information on justifying their existence, the orange Namekian form has just enough information on it that it falls somewhere in between these two categories, even without the series directly telling us anything about it. So in today's video, I plan on taking everything we know about this transformation and hopefully giving a definitive answer to the question, what exactly is the orange Namekian form? And joining me today is a buddy of mine's, Deverboy.
Yo! Alright, jumping right into it. In order to find out what makes this form tick, the first thing we need to know is what is the true purpose of the Dragon Balls, as almost everything about this form ties back to these magical orbs. The way it's achieved, the power it possesses, and even its appearance all stems from them. Now, when looking at the history behind the Dragon Balls, although the Namekians aren't the original creators of them, these orbs have become an integral part of their culture. And as we know, the Namekians are a race of peaceful people that only wish to protect their planet, and they do so through the use of their warrior clan Namekians, and Namekian fusion when all else fails. So how exactly does the Dragon Balls play a part in keeping the peace? If anything, it seems as if they're more trouble than they're worth. Well, you see, the primary reason why the Namekians made them to reward warriors during time of great suffering. Essentially, it was used as an incentive for warrior clan Namekians to protect the planet, and on top of that, they'd get a free wish for doing so. So now that we know why the Namekians made them, how does this relate to Piccolo? Well, you see, our favorite Namekian is actually a part of the warrior clan. I know, big surprise. And ever since the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, he has played a part in protecting Earth and even planet Namek. The Saiyans, Frieza, the androids, Majin Buu, Beerus, Frieza again, Moro, and most recently, Salmek. All of these instances were times of great suffering, and were prime example, times when Piccolo should have used the Dragon Balls to protect the planet. You know, like how they were originally used by the Namekian people. However, due to him not knowing anything about his own culture, he never used them. So by the time the superhero arc came around, when Piccolo finally used them for what his clan originally used them for, Shenron went out of his way to reward Piccolo for all those times that the Namekian put his life on the line for the planet. This explains why the form is as strong as it is. Now that we know the true purpose of the Dragon Balls, the next thing I want to discuss is the appearance of this form, as it does give us more information on what it is. Seeing as this is a topic that I've seen a number of people tackle, I'll just skim over it real quick. Everything about the aesthetic of this transformation screams Namekian pride. Most notably, three things: the various shades of the orange skin, the red eyes, and the Ajisa tree symbol on the back of the gi. Now, the Ajisa tree is the tree that we see all over planet Namek, and they have a long history with the Namekians, going as far back as age 261. Although the only purpose that they serve is to enhance the beauty of their planet, the Namekians have shown that they deeply care for them, as when these trees almost went extinct, they went out of their way to preserve them. So it being on Piccolo's gi in his form pays respect to something his people deeply care about. As for the orange skin and red eyes, well, those two colors are the primary and secondary colors of the Dragon Balls, the items that have become synonymous with the Namekians. So even at a glance, this form is the epitome of the warrior Namekians.
Moving on, the next thing we need to discuss in order to understand more about this form is the power that it possesses. For those who don't know, the orange Namekian form is a divine transformation, similar to the likes of Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, meaning that it has access to God Ki, and we can confirm this by taking a look at DBS chapter 96, where we see Goten and Trunks trying to sense where Piccolo was. However, due to the Namekian being in his orange form, they can't. Now, as strong as this form is, if it had been using normal Ki, sensing something like this should have been extremely easy, as even Goten and Trunks picked up on Dende's ki, someone who is far weaker than Piccolo. So since they couldn't pick up on Piccolo's ki signature at all, this shows us that the orange Namekian form more than likely has access to divine ki. Now, as interesting as this information may be, funnily enough, all it really does is raise a new question, that being, what exactly is allowing Piccolo to tap into divine energy without proper training? Well, seeing as his form is fairly new and the revelation of it having God Ki was just a few months ago, we don't really have a concrete answer for how this is possible. However, the best explanation we have for this is simply that Shenron granted him access to it, as this will make the most sense, and the reason why Shenron would be able to do something like this is due to one person. No, not Dende, it's none other than Dragon God Zalama. Let me explain. For those who don't know, Zalama is the creator of the Super Dragon Balls, and despite the fact that we know little to nothing about this powerful being, one thing we do know is that Zalama more than likely has access to God Ki, and by extension so does his creation. When we take a look at Super Shenron and the wishes that he's granted, it should be evident that those wishes would take a tremendous amount of power far beyond the reaches of any mortal, and hell even most gods. The biggest example being that he was able to reverse the complete erasure of all the universes within the Tournament of Power. Not only that, in the Japanese dub of the anime, Super Shenron is quite literally dubbed the title Dragon of the Gods, giving us another reason that points to him more than likely having access to Divine Ki. Now, what does any of this have to do with regular old Shenron? Well, the thing about Earth's resident Wish Dragon and the Dragon Balls associated with them is that they're just carbon copies of the original, as all Dragon Balls are. You see, the way that the Namekians were even able to make the Dragon Balls in the first place is by, I kid you not, shaving off small pieces from the original. What this shows us is Shenron, Porunga, and Tarambo are all descendants, or like I said, carbon copies of Super Shenron, and due to their ancestry, I do believe that they should be well versed in how God Ki works as well. So much so that granting someone access to it wouldn't be that difficult for them as long as the person is able to handle it, meaning that the God Ki that we see Orange Piccolo wielding is more than likely just a gift from Shenron himself. Now, there are other theories out there, but I feel like this one makes the most sense, seeing as Piccolo didn't have any God Ki until he unlocked this form, and this form didn't become a thing until Shenron gave it to him. So to answer the question, what exactly is the Orange Namekian form? In short, this form is the pinnacle of Namekian power, achieved when a Namekian who has had their potential fully unlocked taps into God Ki, thus shattering their limits completely. It represents the pride and the culture of its people, and although we don't know much about it, this form already does a good job in earning its place among the better transformations within the series. From what this form represents to how it's so well connected to the mythos within the Dragon Ball universe, it truly is a great form. Anyways, that's all I got for you guys in this one. Tell me what your thoughts are on Piccolo's orange form down below in the comments, and I hope you all have a great day. Peace, peace, deuce, deuce.